Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're tackling a massive question. Has the e-mobility revolution finally hit its tipping point? For a century, the internal combustion engine has basically been the undisputed heartbeat of global transit. But right now, we are living through an era-defining shift towards zero-emission mobility. And here is the kicker. It's not just about saving the planet anymore. It is literally about pure economics. So we're going to dig into the hard data and see if electric vehicles have crossed that magic threshold to become a no-brainer, cost-effective reality for both giant city infrastructures and, well, everyday drivers like us. Okay, let's dive right into the classic dilemma, right? High sticker prices versus low running costs. For years, the absolute biggest roadblock to EV adoption has been that initial hit to the wallet. Whether you're a city planner trying to swap out a massive fleet of buses or just a commuter looking for a daily driver, the sticker shock has been very, very real. But we really have to ask ourselves, once we factor in those daily operational savings, is zero-emission transport actually way closer to being universally affordable than we've been led to believe? Well, the data tells a pretty wild story about why this entire conversation is shifting. Get this. Since 2010, we've seen a massive 79% drop in battery pack prices. We went plummeting from a staggering $1,000 per kilowatt hour all the way down to around $209 in recent years. I mean, that right there is the foundational data point making EVs viable today. The battery used to be this insanely expensive component that just completely wrecked the economics. But as that cost curve drops like a rock, the whole financial calculus flips from this subsidized luxury for early adopters to a highly scalable necessity. And because of that incredible plunge in battery costs, we're witnessing something pretty fascinating. It's basically a dual-track shift. Two massive market trajectories happening at the exact same time. On one track, you've got public transit authorities going all in, rapidly electrifying these heavy municipal bus fleets to hit some pretty strict climate goals. And on the parallel track, automakers are aggressively going after the mass-market passenger sector, finally pushing affordable city cars to the public. Now, these two worlds might seem totally different, but they're actually feeding off the exact same technological breakthroughs and economies of scale. Looking at the municipal side first, flagship models, like the Proterra Catalyst, for example, are completely transforming public fleets. But here's the thing. They're doing way more than just moving people around. They are actively paving the way for brand new financing models and, crucially, proving battery reliability on a massive, massive scale. Think about it. City buses run continuously, all day. Constant stopping, starting, hauling incredibly heavy loads. By proving that electric drivetrains can handle that kind of brutal daily stress, the heavy transit sector has basically been the ultimate stress test for EV durability. So the absolutely crucial metric here is total cost of ownership, or TCO. Smart planners aren't just looking at the purchase price anymore, they're looking at the whole life cycle. And the data is super clear. When a bus runs about 166 kilometers a day, a standard 250 kilowatt-hour e-bus actually beats a conventional diesel bus on cost. We're talking $0.99 per kilometer for electric versus $1.05 for diesel. Now, I know 6 cents sounds like just pennies, right? But stretch that out over a lifespan of hundreds of thousands of kilometers, and that tiny margin snowballs into some seriously massive operational savings. Because of that stark efficiency, there's actually a bit of a magic number here. 60,000 kilometers a year. Once the municipal transit vehicle hits that annual mileage, boom, the e-bus achieves total cost parity with diesel incredibly fast. Essentially, the rule is the more the vehicle is driven, the faster those massive fuel and maintenance savings pay off the initial battery premium. High utilization is literally the key to unlocking a rapid return on investment. Now, here is where it gets really relevant for us, because that exact same financial logic applies right in your own driveway. Let's look at 3 concrete reasons your wallet is definitely going to prefer an EV over a combustion engine. First up, operational efficiency. Electricity is just fundamentally cheaper per kilometer than refined fossil fuels. Second, reduced maintenance downtime. Because EVs don't have those incredibly complex drivetrains, you get to skip the oil changes, the transmission fluid top-offs, and all those dreaded mechanic visits for heavy wear and tear. And third, access incentives. In a lot of modern cities today, driving an EV lets you breeze right past restricted traffic zone fees and can even score you heavily subsidized or even completely free parking.
So how does this momentum translate for everyday drivers? Well, we are officially entering the era of the mass entry passenger market. Automakers have finally figured out how to use dedicated electric platforms and super durable LFP, that's lithium iron phosphate, batteries to just slash production costs. Thanks to those specific industrial strategies, they've actually managed to drop the entry barrier to under 25,000 euros. This is a big deal. We're finally moving out of that awkward phase where EVs were just premium luxury toys and stepping right into the realm of everyday, scalable, mass-market reality.
And this new wave of city cars, models like the Dacia Spring or the Fiat Grande Panda, they share the exact same technological and economic DNA that made the massive e-bus revolution possible. Think about it. They don't actually need 800 kilometers of range to be effective. By focusing on a really solid 300 to 400 kilometers of real-world urban range, manufacturers can keep the battery size down. That keeps the overall weight down, which, at the end of the day, keeps the final sticker price affordable for urban commuters or families who just need a reliable second car. But if you really want to make the economics sing, savvy fleet planners and everyday consumers alike are taking advantage of something called the golden window. Basically, this is an optimal holding period of about 4 to 6 years. If you keep the vehicle within this time frame, you are absolutely maximizing your financial return because you stay fully covered under the manufacturer's warranty. It's a sweet spot. It lets you avoid the absolute steepest part of the early depreciation curve on a new car, while perfectly timing your exit before you ever have to stress about paying for expensive out-of-pocket repairs, like replacing an inverter.
And, financing strategies are evolving incredibly fast right now. The heavy lifting that was pioneered by transit agencies is actually serving as a direct blueprint for us commuters. Take battery leasing, for instance. In the bus sector, authorities realized pretty quickly they could slash the initial cost just by separating the vehicle purchase from the battery itself. And now, we are seeing that exact same logic applied to consumer social leasing programs. Plus, cities are doing this thing called joint procurement, basically teaming up to buy fleets together so they can leverage massive economies of scale and drive those per-unit costs down even further. It's really smart stuff.
But, okay, stepping back from the wallet for a second, the planetary benefits here are just impossible to ignore. Switching to electric propulsion drops CO2 emissions by a staggering 39% per kilometer compared to your average gas-powered car. And here is a vital piece of context. That figure already factors in the emissions generated by the power grids supplying the electricity. So as our global power grids inevitably get greener and incorporate more renewables, that 39% reduction is only going to grow, which is just a huge win for our planetary health. And honestly, the impacts hit even closer to home when we talk about street-level urban quality of life. Electrifying fleets instantly yanks toxic nitrogen oxides, which, by the way, are a massive contributor to respiratory issues, right out of the air we breathe on the sidewalk. But it's not just the air quality. EVs completely eliminate those constant mechanical vibrations and that endless low-level combustion hum that just absolutely plagues modern cities. We are talking about taking congested, loud urban corridors and transforming them into quieter, cleaner, and just fundamentally more peaceful places to live and work. All right, let's wrap up with a quick cheat sheet. Your core takeaways from today's explainer. Number 1, always look past the sticker price and focus on total cost of ownership. That initial premium, it's an investment you recoup through massive operational savings. Number 2, high utilization drives your ROI. Simply put, the more you drive an EV, the more money you save compared to gas. And number 3, strategic charging is critical. Whether it's a giant city bus fleet charging overnight at a depot, or just you plugging in at home, aligning your charging habits with your actual daily route needs is exactly how you maximize efficiency. Before we go, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative thought to chew on the next time you step outside. Take a really close look at the public transit and the cars in your own community. Ask yourself, how many of them are still pumping exhaust into the air you're breathing? And maybe more importantly, what specific local barriers, whether that's a lack of chargers, outdated grid capacity, or honestly just plain old bureaucratic inertia, might be slowing down this inevitable electric revolution right in your own neighborhood? Thank you all so much for joining me for this explainer. The shift to zero-emission mobility, it really isn't just some cool technological upgrade. It's an economic and environmental imperative that's going to completely redefine our cities. I really hope you walk away today feeling empowered with a crystal clear understanding of the e-mobility economics, the data behind all these trends, and a sharper eye for how this revolution is unfolding literally all around us. Until next time, keep learning and keep observing.